Hello? Hello? Hello?
No.
Steve, can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Great. Yeah, he's a little quiet.
Can you amp him up a little bit, Tim?
Can you hear me?
Volume, maybe
Did you scream into your mic?
just shout. Steve.
Just shout. Oh, man.
Okay. Can you hear me?
There we go. That's
Yes.
better.
We
That's
got
better.
it.
All right. All right.
Okay,
Steve,
great.
ready? We're gonna get ready to roll. Get ready.
Ready?
Good evening. Today is Thursday, March 21st, the Environmental Advisory Council's meeting. Call to order. All right, let's take a roll call. Jenna Cabanas.
Here,
Cindy Mahalo. Here. David Galosh.
Here, there you go, Galush.
Galush.
Yeah, here.
Joe Pinto.
Hi, here it's.
Sheila O'Sullivan Feeney, present. All right. Let's give it a moment of silence. I give allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Just for the record purposes, we'll let everyone know that Steve Neese is on the call, so his guidance is in the room with all of us. And for the agenda, Steve, before we put through a motion to accept the agenda, I did not see anything about Campus Boulevard, and I know from last month we mentioned that we were going to hold that off because we only had the information on 11, 15, 17, 14, and 16 Campus Boulevard, but we were waiting for the plans for 335 Bishop Hollow and 7 Campus. Is this issue going to be dealt with in next week at the Planning Commission or in April?
It is going to be dealt with, I believe, at the April meeting and then before the Board of Supervisors on the
28th of May.
28th of May, yes.
Yes, okay, so we don't have any revised plans other than the plans that were submitted last month, and you don't have any new information, correct?
That's correct. And again, this will be a conditional use. It's not a traditional land development.
Okay,
Like we think about it, that you would typically be weighing in on all the pieces. This is just, can they use the property to do housing?
okay, so do we need to move that to the
agenda?
agenda for this evening, Steve? Because we will have to.
No,
Okay,
you'll meet in April, and if we have
Okay.
more plans at that time, then we'll look at it at that time.
thank you. So a motion was made to accept the agenda as written. Yes. And seconded by,
Second.
motion was made by Cindy Mahalo, seconded by Dave, to accept the agenda as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Perfect. All right, item number 5, public comments for agenda items only. Since there's no one in the public, we won't be getting any public comment, but next item is item 6. Considering the minutes from the February 15th meeting. Do I have a motion?
A motion.
Okay, motion was,
I just,
sorry,
I saw something under item, I guess it's supposed to be 71, 7.1.
we were on 6.1 right now, the minutes, or accepting the minutes.
last
Yeah,
month.
the minutes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The item 7.1 of the minutes where it talked about under 11, 15, 17 Campus Boulevard. First, it says we're going to hold off on commenting until the March meeting. And then underneath that, it says there was a motion to approve that Cindy Mahalo would draft a comment letter. So I never did draft that comment letter.
Right. So should we
And-
just have it corrected? Because
Really?
the motion was for you to draft the letter regarding 14 Phillips, never
Yeah.
Campus Boulevard.
Right.
That's why it's under.
Oh, okay, maybe.
That's
I
why it's
just-
under.
Okay,
Yeah, that's why it's under Phillips.
Okay,
But see, there's no, because the way the software system works for
Okay.
the minutes, there's
Okay.
no way to
Got it.
section everything off, so that's the
Okay.
way I have to drop it in
it
there.
relates.
I know what you're saying though now.
Okay,
Okay.
that's,
Yeah, if I could figure out a way to do that, then I would definitely do that, but yeah, that was meant to be for Phillips.
Right, and I read
I
that
apologize.
that way, so,
okay.
okay, so Cindy, you're comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, the question was, there's the way that it's formatted, but Cindy is okay with those minutes, so a motion was made, by Joe Pinto to accept our February 15th minutes, seconded by Jennifer Vanis. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, item number 7, reports, staff reports. Steve, you want to give us the update on the plastic landscaping mesh?
Yes. Yeah, so I know this has been something that's come up. I wanted to let everybody know that the board is working on several different zoning and changes, and this is one that we're looking at as a way to approach how to address this. And so the engineer has been assigned to actually look into what would be a reasonable solution that somebody could use in place of using the plastic mesh for planting, like a stabilization, and then going forward on all projects where there's soil stabilization. Once we get that, we'll do an ordinance that says basically this is the types of soil stabilization that will be allowed by the township. So.
Awesome, awesome. Any questions on that for Steve? Steve, while you were talking, DJ Varner, who was one of the residents who put forth the concern about landscape mesh, just walked into the room, and Steve Neese is on the phone. Steve, he said you missed the cartwheel he just did while you gave such great news to him.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll probably take a couple months, but that's what we're working towards.
So awesome. Okay, so great, moving in the positive direction there, Steve, and it's really wonderful to see that when residents express concerns and that we work with government, through government, we can get productive outcomes for the environment and for our community. All right.
If I could add a couple of things on that related to that is, having the ordinances is great, and that will cover a large percentage of the possible uses of this product, or not cover them so they're not handled or utilized. DJ and I had identified other areas in the township operations where plastic mesh might occur. And at DJ's request, we met with George Sheritz to talk about the Public Works Department and their potential use of this product. And George was very receptive, and we shared information with him, and he said that the Public Works Department does not often engage in activities that might use this, but when they do, they will be very cognizant of this, and they will strive to use alternative products. The other sliver of the pie of when mesh might be used would be instances such as the sidewalk installation along Ellis Avenue. And we asked for clarification about that, like how would that be covered or prevented in the future? And he said that in that instance, that's a slightly different scenario, because that project was designed, overseen, and implemented by Pannoni, the township engineer, and that they don't always handle the installation, but in this instance, for particular reasons, they did. So we asked about kind of closing that door. And he said that, that was not within his scope, but he explained that Pannoni reports to the Board of Supervisors, so that in the future, if there were instances where Pannoni might be handling a project that might involve this, that's where it would go. That would be the checks and balances.
Great.
Yeah.
I understand it's going to be mostly focusing on land development, right, Steve?
Yeah, so the idea will be anytime that somebody pulls a soil and erosion permit, we're going to be telling them that that is not an the plastic mesh is not an allowable
Option.
use for stabilization of soil. And so, which would mean that even when the township does it, when we do a project, the engineer would then have it as part of the bid project that's how it would be done.
Great.
So it would be without using mesh in that way.
Well, Steve, thank you for listening to the concerns from residents. And as I said, the EAC appreciates you working on this issue, and especially with the Board of Supervisors who are supportive of this measure. So I think it's a good thing, and we'll look forward to seeing the draft, and we'll look forward to seeing this move forward. All right, item number eight, new business, discussion of possible actions on our lights out proclamation. Tim, can you put up the promo piece? And Janet, you're going to read outside. First, I'll give a little background on the proclamation, and then you and Cindy will be able to discuss that.
Yes, thank you very much. We're very excited about being able to bring this proclamation to our Board of Supervisors. As we enter the migration period from April the 1st through the end of May. And we live here in a very important place for migrating birds. So it's essential that we support this. Having this proclamation go out in the Township e-newsletter was very timely. And so I'd like to share, Cindy and I would like to share a reading of our proclamation.
Right.
For
For the viewers at home, though, they can notice that up on the screen right now is the promotional piece for Janet's Lights Out program in Newtown Square. That's effective from April 1st to May 31st. Janet, do you want to mention anything about that so while they see that on the screen before you start reading that?
Well, of course, it mentions what is happening to migrating birds with the light pollution. Most of us probably don't realize that birds migrate at night, that flocks are migrating at night. And the weather report can show the movement of birds at night. And then in the daytime, they are resting and feeding in our backyards, in our meadows, along their route. So it's important to.
Because the lights on affect their nocturnal sight. Right, disturbing.
Yeah,
All right.
And in that promotion on the screen that you pointed out, Sheila, there is a link to additional information on the Birdtown PA website, and that will give specifics and guidance on exactly what actions homeowners and businesses can take.
Perfect.
Yes, I think they can just click on it and go right to that. Site.
I don't think it's an active link, unfortunately.
Can we get a copy of this electronically so all of us
Yeah.
can advertise
your-
it and get it out?
It's in your e-newsletter this month.
Yeah, but I mean like the
I can
actual,
send it.
like
Oh,
the
sure.
picture file of it, I'm saying, so we
Yeah.
can, yeah.
It's a
Okay.
JPEG, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Janet, can you
Good.
read the proclamation?
Sure. So, Lights Out Proclamation, Newtown Township, Delaware County. Whereas Newtown Township was established as a bird town, Pennsylvania in 2022, and there are street signs promoting our dedication to the effort. And we were sharing.
I don't have a copy.
And
Just give it the
whereas
first half.
most bird migration in the United States of America occurs in the spring between April 1st and May 31st, and in the fall between August 15th and November 15th. And whereas an estimated 1 billion birds are killed each year due to nighttime light pollution, and whereas bird migration is one of nature's great wonders, and whereas birds typically follow established flyways, which are routes that offer the best opportunities for rest and refueling along the way, and whereas Newtown Township is part of the Atlantic Flyway used by migrating birds, and our Newtown Meadow Preserve is designated as an important bird area, an IBA, by the Audubon Society.
And whereas more than 50 cities and states, including Philadelphia, participate in the Lights Out program initiated by the Audubon Society and its partners. And whereas there are readily available good alternatives to lighting that is dangerous to birds, with these safer options including motion detectors for outdoor lighting, outdoor lights being covered, so the light goes downward. Example, via the use of cutoff fixtures, lights on a timer and dimmer, and warm colored lighting with correlated color temperatures of less than or equal to 2200 degrees Kelvins. Now therefore be resolved, Newtown Township does hereby proclaim its support for the Lights Out program and thus encourages residents and commercial property owners to help birds migrate more safely by converting exterior lighting to warm colors of less than or equal to 2200 degrees Kelvin and voluntarily dimming, blocking, or turning off exterior lighting or using motion detectors on outdoor lighting between the hours 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. during the spring and fall migration dates of April 1st to May 31st and August 15th to November 15th. Newtown Township Board of Supervisors.
Wonderful. All right, so this proclamation is important. In addition, it's necessary because, as Janet mentioned, we are a bird town, Pennsylvania. And to stay in line with our present accreditation, it's important that we recognize this. So the proclamation was put forth. Do I have someone who's going to put forth that motion?
Can I put that
Okay.
motion forward?
Janet Carvanis has mentioned that she would like us to have full support for the Lights Out proclamation, seconded by
I'll second.
Cindy Mahalo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion stands 100%. Congratulations, Janet. Continue your great work with Birdtown, Pennsylvania.
And we would like to see that this proclamation draft is in the Board of Supervisors packet for Monday's meeting of the board. They have received the draft previously.
Steve, can you confirm that that will be on Monday's night's Board of Supervisors meeting?
I believe that will be.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Uh,
We will be here.
we'll-
I will be there.
All right, awesome. All right,
Could I share a couple of related things that this proclamation reflects the sentiment of a variety of residents in Newtown Township? And DJ, would you like to share? You had sent me an email. You want to just get up and mention your concerns?
Turn your microphone on.
I don't think you even knew that we were doing this at the time you sent that email to the EAC.
So DJ Varner, 203 Gerard Avenue, Newtown Square. I'm in the enclave at Ellis Preserve, and right across the one of the roads in the preserve that goes back to the office buildings. Right across the road from us is a big parking garage and also some office buildings. The parking garage in particular has lights on 24/7, and they're extremely bright. They the side of the parking garage is open to air, and there's lots of lights on the ceiling of that parking garage that just comes out. It's very bright. The office buildings also keep many lights on pretty much 24/7. So it's, for us humans, it's annoying. Unfortunately, we fear for the birds, it's worse.
Right.
So,
So
And-
yeah, I was pleased to be able to share with you that this
Yes.
proclamation was forthcoming and it's something you can
we
take to
definitely,
the.
definitely appreciate it. I think we're formulating some ideas how we can, from our HOA perspective, maybe talk to the people across the street or something.
I
We're
think the
thinking,
most important thing we could do, proclamations are really great, but we also need to get business communities and homeowners to buy into this. So anything you can do with your residents by
Yeah.
showing them and making them aware, share it in your community. Dave mentioned that he'd be sharing this out on social
Yeah.
media. Light pollution is something that impacts all of our health in addition to the birds. So it's something very important. We'd like to see continued efforts on that, but it's important to bring businesses involved too.
I
So
think that's
this is
what-
an opportunity for our green business sustainable partners to have an opportunity to share this with their customers or to share out. You know, I think they're probably looking for ways to be sustainable, and this is certainly one of them. I'm hoping that those who have taken the pledge will get an opportunity to see this, maybe send it out specially to our
And if you could write up something that, because the Business Association is having their next happy hour on April 3rd and make a,
Okay.
maybe be there. That'd
May
be
I
a
be
public-
there?
Yeah, and support that, but also
Okay.
sending word out to that would be really helpful because Sheila can send that out. That's awesome.
And by the way, it's not just birds, it's also our pollinators, moths,
Everything
Night
back
night
there.
bugs, they all get affected by the light pollution.
Absolutely.
And one last thing is when we mentioned at the HOA meeting a week ago Friday, I mentioned this initiative. And one of the representatives from La Terraza mentioned that this was also a concern of them. They had approached their building management about the lights in their parking garage. They had succeeded in getting the management to change the lights to, I forget whether she said they went to LED or less intrusive, and that they received PICO funding for that. And there was a great deal of interest among the other HOA representatives there. So she has offered to have a Zoom call with and invite some of the other HOA people that are interested in hearing about how they got the grant and how they could approach their respective building management. So it's a very timely issue.
Perfect. All right, item 8.2, the discussion and possible action on our Bird Town certificate. Janet, congratulations that Newtown Township will continue for 2024 to have our gold status. That's a great feather in our cap. And congratulations.
Congratulations
to
to
all.
the township.
Yes.
For all the activities that
Yes.
we were involved in. If I could just mention
Yes,
that we had 32 goals that were supported by the municipality, community habitat, collaborations with other organizations, advocacy. We put in a total of 770 volunteer hours. That's through Parks and Rec, through the EAC, through bird walks. Right? And if you add that or multiply that by the volunteer cost per hour, that they say is like $29 per hour. So that's $21,800. Volunteer.
wonderful.
We have put in.
So Steve, can you please convey congratulations and thank the support for the township and to the supervisors for the support of Bird Town. Continuing with our gold status is important part for the township in terms of your environmental goals, but also supporting a healthy and happy environment for all of us to live in. And thank you, Janet and Cindy, for all your work on that effort.
Yep.
All right. Item 8.3, the HOA Landscape Forum. Now, the HOA Landscape Forum, and Cindy's going to mention this, is something that was brought together for HOAs, but it's open to all the public. We want to make sure we're very clear on that. We're inclusive, and we are always about including everyone and always inviting everyone to the table. Cindy.
Yes, a week ago Friday, Janet and Sheila and I met at Media Bean Cafe with about 10 representatives, including DJ and Janet were there representing Ellis Preserve, and there were people there from Terraza and Springton Point. I think that was it. And we met for about an hour and a half, and we exchanged ideas, information. There was a lot of enthusiasm and appreciation for the opportunity to share the unique concerns and challenges that face HOAs who are governed in a different way than individual homeowners. And they look forward to meeting again to discuss again their unique concerns. And one of the members from La Terraza offered to host the meeting at their their community room. We sent a follow-up email recapping some of the information that was shared, offering links and a schedule of events. And the EAC is looking forward to supporting their efforts, and we encourage them to take ownership of this and take it forward, and that we could be a liaison and provide information and support.
Can you provide the dates for when you're gonna meet next, or shoot that in an email?
Yep.
I'm in the townhomes across the street from you, and I'd like to get our HOA involved with you guys. I'm no longer on the HOA. I had about a million things going on in my life, but I can put you in touch with the person who runs ours, and that would be good.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, item 9, old business. 9.1, update and discussion on the WeConservePA EAC Network Conference that was held on February 24th. I thought the conference was great. We had 4 EAC members that attended it. Janet, do you want to talk a little bit about what your thoughts are on the conference or what you felt was most intriguing?
Well, I always like the beginning where they have the short talks for what people are doing within their
Yes.
communities. So that was helpful, and I haven't listened to the recordings yet, but we do have them available for us. I guess others if they want
Yes.
to listen to them.
Cindy, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, one of the, I forget whether it was a lightning round or a full-length presentation, was about managing deer population. And I know that's timely because the township is considering a management program. And we mentioned it at the HOA forum, and there is great concern and much landscaping loss and expense to property owners because of the overpopulation of deer. That presentation was interesting in that someone from another township explained how they took a very sustained and methodical and data supported approach to understanding the scope of the deer population and setting a specific target for the population that level they wanted to get to, and how they just had several years of consecutive management to get them to the population level that they wanted.
All right. So
Yes.
you weren't able to attend it, but no worries. Dave?
I actually found the segment about recycling Christmas lights to be really interesting. I didn't realize how laborious that process is. It's funny how, how oftentimes people don't think about how seemingly sort of innocuous activities that you do every year actually take a toll on the environment. So,
Yes.
now I can't remember what township it was. I think it was somewhere in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to speak with them,
Yeah.
on how they recycled all of that copper and,
All of that is in our EAC network. Since we're auxiliary members, we can get access to any of that. So you can pull up any of those recordings and re-listen to them if you want to kind of make connections
Yeah.
with that. I thought that program was interesting because they basically were collecting used lights, and majority of them, I think a third of them, were actually usable, and they were able to donate.
they
them to
reused,
someone.
yeah,
Yeah.
or they had like a, let's
People
call
do
it
that.
leave a strand of
Yeah.
lights, take a strand of lights
People
station.
change
people
colors
come.
and
Yeah.
everything, right?
So that was cool, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna recycle them, you have to individually take the plastic bulbs off and separate the plastic. It's a lot of effort, and
Yes.
you probably need people with trucks or something because they get very heavy very quickly, but it's something that would require a lot of planning and forethought in
But it
advance, but
Because it was purposing, reusing, keeping things out of the landfill, and
Yeah.
it was generating needs for people who don't have those luxuries of lights and stuff. So
Yeah.
I
By
actually,
the way, Mom's collects the Christmas lights after the holidays.
moms,
Mom's
Consumer?
grocery store.
Oh.
Mom's
Located, where are they?
located
on
in
Route 30.
the Bryn Mawr.
Villanova or Bryn Mawr? Yeah, it's
Bryn Mawr.
right there.
Nice, okay, that's good to know. Well, at the very least, we can put a notice
Yeah.
out to people that they can drop their lights there, but
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a great program. I listened to that too, and it just made me think about the opportunities for recycling specialized things. And, taking on a program like that would obviously require some bandwidth and support. But it made me think about how there is the annual the periodic recycling of election signs that I forget who coordinates that.
yes,
But then there's the pumpkin drop off at Garrett Williamson. And I would just like the EAC to be aware of these and ahead of these and help publicize them like through the e-newsletter, because it really is very little effort on our part to publicize the election signs and the pumpkin composting. And they had tens of thousands of pounds of pumpkins
right,
donated, composted, whatever.
great. I actually listened to, I did the municipal track, so there was I did the deer control aspect, which I thought was intriguing as well, because I know Steve is working that through the township. I also did the one on soil compaction, and that was really concerning because a lot of people forget simple things like aerating their lawns, how that can help with stormwater and everything heavy equipment on our, even lawnmowers, what it does to the way that we process stormwater. So it reminds us all to do everything we can for our own individual properties, to aerate our lawns, to keep the heavy equipment off the lawns, because the compaction just doesn't allow the water to penetrate very well, and to be aware of that. Also going into, did you happen to watch the soil one as well?
No.
Oh, really interesting, because it was just talking about, separating segments of soil and how you can really add amendments to it, and based on what we're doing. So there's some applications we can talk about for the township, but I'd like, if we get a chance, if any of us kind of want to sit together and kind of pick brains on some of those ideas or relook at those things, please, let's do that. Just do it as a party of two so that we're not addressing a quorum issue. All right, item number 9.3, update, discussion, and possible action on further support of the Sustainable Green Business Coalition.
think-
Kim, can you bring up this?
Is that 9.2 or 3?
9.2.
Got it, sorry.
Kim is bringing up, this is the Green Business Leaders event. And this is just a support of the programs. We went into the segment of what the program is like and where it's going. As of March 6th, these are all the members that have taken the pledge. And it's just, if you can, yeah. We have now nearly 5 businesses since then. We've gotten some really great, we got Runeck Tattoo. Last week, we got Sweet Kids Repeats Boutique. We've got Kind Plumbing. So really some wonderful businesses stepping up, and it's been a great success. But I would love to see any more support from the EAC on this will be helpful. And going into item 9.3, review, discussion, and possible action on our Green Business Mini Conference that was held on Friday, March 8th. Dave, take that away.
I think everyone was there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So I thought it was a really great success. It's gotten rave reviews. Like 5 people have stopped me just around the township that saw me and said that they had a great time and that they were really proud to be able to attend or had seen it on social media. So I think we should give you a shout out, Sheila, because you were the driving force behind it, but I was happy to help. No, I think Boron did a great job.
Yes.
I look forward to next year. Hopefully we'll have double the amount of people as this year, and hopefully we'll be lucky enough to get as good of a location, or Boron will reprise again to host for us. So
Janet, any comments on that?
I was happy that Birdtown was represented there.
Good stuff. Cindy?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a very exciting event. I give you a lot of credit for conceiving of that and pulling it together. I think public events like that, where you bring people together, can have a real catalytic, synergistic effect of just putting people together and getting them talking about this and surfacing the issue. I did have a couple questions or thoughts, and that is, since we may have people watching this, could you remind everyone of where residents and customers can go to see the pledges that each business has made? Is that posted online?
Well, the name of the business is posted on the township website. So every business that's listed there is a direct, if you could see, you pull up Sustainable Newtown Square Green Business, those companies are listed. Actually, this month in our e-newsletter, they send you to the link of every businesses. What the individual company is doing is proprietary information. We're not sharing out what they on their forms are doing. And Steve, do you want to address that, or?
Because I've had residents.
Yeah, can you hear me?
How do I know what, if I see the name of a company there, a business, and I'm thinking about patronizing them because they're being sustainable, how will I know what they're doing or how they're fulfilling their pledge? So I wondered what to say to those people.
Yeah, I think that, in some cases, what they're doing is something that, not every business wants to put out everything that they're doing. And so we're trying to respect that. And so I think that's going to be a challenge, other than saying, it has been reviewed by those who are doing the program. And that's where we are with that. I think we want to be careful, because some of what's being done by some organizations, like I said, they feel like they don't want to they don't want that publicly put out, and I think we
Right.
need to
And the
respect that.
program is a voluntary program, and Cindy, we meet with each person, each company, and to go through
Yep.
and discuss and make options, say, what can you do? And the pledge is important because they're deciding, they're like drawing a line in the sand. From this day forward, what can I do to be more sustainable? So some individuals are going in and saying, hey, I can do this with my water, I can do this with my lighting. And if you look at like Yoga in the Circle, she did a fantastic thing. What she did is she listed on her social media, again, about accountability. Hey, I'm a green business leader. I got this certificate. This is what I pledged to do. So she's holding herself accountable to that. And we encourage businesses to do that because it's important that they show that they're sustainable by their actions and they're moving forward. We can't say to them that they're being 100% sustainable in every way because you and I are not 100% sustainable.
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't saying
Yeah,
that. I
we
was
just got to be really careful that we don't, because we're moving the ball forward. Every business is taking that pledge. They're making the steps and we encourage them to make those steps. Some of them can do, like Boron, what they can do, what SAP can do.
No, I
is-
realize
yeah.
that, Sheila. That's not what I was asking.
Yeah,
No.
I think our important part was the businesses have taken that pledge. It's a public pledge. It's a really important step. And they're working with us. They meet with us, they discuss with us, they send in their paperwork. And so I think we're kind of trying to work with respecting the business.
I think, I think maybe, you know, we could down the road or something to do moving forward is use yoga, Yoga in Circle as an example and say, look at, here's what they're doing. Understand every business can't do this, but to the extent possible, or to the extent you're willing, you could, you know,
Right, and
post
that's
on
what
social
they
media,
want
and
to
then
share.
that way you can point people to
Yeah.
social
we
media.
agree. Yeah,
We
that's
encourage
like
them
that,
to
yeah.
share. We
Because
encourage
I've
them.
had people
Yeah,
ask me.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
You know, I thought that the companies did share what they had pledged to do.
oh, they did, oh, to the township.
No,
and the
but,
things,
but
right.
publicly, and I
Yeah.
realize that it's
Yeah.
totally voluntary and they choose what they're gonna do.
Yes.
But, okay, so now I know how to answer people. The other, thought I had was, this seems like this is really focused on only one segment of the community. And I know you've mentioned a couple times that the HOA forum has to be open to the public and be equal access. But I'm wondering, are you offering equal access to people who want to join the Green Business Coalition?
Every business, whether a member of their Newtown Square Business Association or any business in Newtown Square, is equally available to take advantage of this program. It's a business program. It's
No,
not an
I realize,
individual
and
resident.
that's the same with the HOA forum, is it's open to any HOA that wants to join. So I'm a bit puzzled by why you're saying the HOA forum has to be open to individual residents when it's specifically tailored.
The
to the
Sustainable
unique
Newtown
concern.
Square Green Business Coalition is open to every business in Newtown Square, whether you're a member of Newtown Square Business Association or you're just a business in any way. So we're not in any way excluding anyone,
No, I realize that.
right?
Okay,
So-
but I'm asking, why is there such concern that the HOA forum have like equal access to people who don't live in an HOA?
I think you're conflating two different issues. The HOA forum is a group of people who are getting access to information and they're residents, right? And so what we want to do is those HOAs already have a structured body to communicate their issues and their concern, whereas the majority of our homes do not have an HOA. So if we're sharing information, we just want to make sure that it gets out to everyone.
Well, most of the information that's being shared at the forums is information that's already out there.
I think we're just talking about making sure, it's pretty fair to say that when we're putting out information, we want to make sure everyone gets access. Equal information to everyone, I think is the question. And when you have an HOA, you already have a structured body that's advocating for your rights. Whereas if you have individual property, there's nobody advocating for them. So if we have a forum for just one area being addressed, I think the other person is not heard in that same area, and it's a concern.
Well, we can discuss this later.
Yeah. All right, update on 9.4, possible update on possible actions with our reusable bags and the sustainable green business. The bags are going really well, and this is our spring colors. Code is doing really well. See those pop of colors? The irony is, of course, they're plastic flowers, but we tried to find real flowers. We tried to find them. There are some real flowers in there, but there's some plastic because I needed color. The interesting thing is the library did receive, I dropped off nearly 50 bags for the weekend for them, for their book sale. And again, positive news, getting that word out there. Also, wonderful news, there was a mistake in our order with the bags. And so because they realized they were going to be late on one order, they gave us another free order of bags.
Wow.
So we are delighted that we received 300 new bags. So we don't, 300 new
Wow.
bags, baby. And we are delighted because we're not
Quite
buying
the
any more,
mistake.
we're not buying any more bags from our budgeting perspective, but we are in good shape for this year and I'm thrilled with that. All right. Also, Stephen, we were mentioning the mini conference. It was really important to note that the Board of Supervisors and the Township was very supportive of that, Suzanne, all the supervisors. So it's really, and the Business Association, it's a team effort, everyone working together, and we won't accomplish everything if we just look at the individual. We have to look at what the team done together. So, Steve, can you please convey
Yeah.
our thanks to both the Township as well as the Board of Supervisors for their full support for that event?
I will do so.
Please, thank you. All right. Item 9.5, update and possible action on the EAC's annual report. The annual report was sent out. Sorry, I was waylaid with so many other responsibilities, but we got that out over the weekend. There's only one grammatical error in there that I need to change. Is there anyone else having any noted on the annual report? Janet, are you okay?
I know you listed all of the groups that we
Yes.
interact with. And I know that Birdtown was listed independently, but we do have workshops that Birdtown produces.
Yes.
And like for our coffee
Yes.
event, we are rebroadcasting
Yes.
one of those. So if we could just add Birdtown to
It's not listed here?
listed of
Under
those
which,
organizations.
can I show her which?
Sure. There's a long list of all of the all of these
Partnerships.
partnerships. And it wasn't.
But there's a section just on
I know
Birdtown.
there is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I think.
We can add that, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the noted, guys, is just a notation of adding Birdtown to the annual report. Is there anything
To
else
the
in the annual
partnerships.
report, Joe, that you would like to have changed, amended, or any way concerns?
No.
Okay,
I reviewed it electronically. It's,
yeah,
yeah.
all right.
I'm good.
So a motion was put forward by Joe Pinto to accept our annual report, seconded by
I'll second it. There we go.
seconded by Dave to accept our EAC 2023 annual report. All in favor, say aye.
It was
Motion
really well
is
put
accepted.
together.
Oh, and the good news is, even better, is Cindy. Joe is going to be working with you next year to get the 2020, well, this year's 2024 report. And he's going to make sure, so it's not just, piling on one person. Joe is going to work on that 2024 report together, get the information compiled together, make it easier so we can get this bad boy out the door quicker next year.
Great.
Steve, we will make, depending upon the supervisor schedule, we'll present this to the supervisors. When do you find
Yeah,
that appropriate?
maybe at the April meeting, I'll have to verify, but
Okay.
we
What I
usually
could
try to
do-
start doing reports.
Yeah, what I could do is submit it to Suzanne, and whenever she gets it on the schedule, that's fine. If they need
Yeah.
us to go before them, we'll be willing to do that.
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right, great. All right, item number 9.6, discussion, possible action, repairing buffered wetlands. Draft ordinance submitted by Township Solicitor for consideration to the Board of Supervisors. Woo-hoo! So, Steve, you want to mention anything about 9.6?
Just that it's, that the supervisors and the solicitor are, have both said that they want to get this done. I know it's on the list and hopefully it will get done soon.
Steve, please thank Rich for that. That's a really a big move and we're really supportive. We're looking forward to that, especially because this is the recommendations of the our comprehensive plan and we want to make sure we address that. So we'd love to see some movement in that action. Update on possible action on the township's weed ordinance to help residents along conversions and things. We know that this is going to take a little bit more time, but we understand where the board's sentiments are that, and we understand what the direction of the Board of Supervisors are. We look forward to see that draft as well. And we know that the focus will be primarily, as Janet, we spoke about, on the back of the properties. We, of course, would like it to be front as well, but we understand that we're moving in the right direction. We'll be grateful for this, but we definitely would like to continue on the progress that you're making there, and we appreciate that.
And we're happy to see gardens in the front.
Yes,
With native plants.
yes, perfect. All right, item 9.8, this is great. Okay, so we had the CRC cleanup on Saturday, which was well attended by EAC members, Parks and Rec, Public Works, as everyone. It was a great turnout and was fabulous. And we'll see upcoming events. This will be, Kim, can you pop up the spring migration? Janet, do you want to mention anything about the spring migration and coffee connection?
Yes, we are going to be featuring the recording that Blake Gall made for Birdtown Leaders on the importance of purchasing or using shade-grown coffee, in that it allows for the habitat of our migrating birds into Central America. And many of the coffees that are grown without shade, and so all of the trees are cut down. That's not an opportunity for the birds to have nesting. And many of our birds that we see here in the springtime are ones who have flown up from the Central America. So we're going to be addressing what Blake Gall had as the education director there at Willistown Conservation Trust can tell us about bird banding and the use of the newest technology, MODIS, to track birds that are moving through our area and down into Central America. So we're happy to be offering also coffee tastings, and we will have coffee from Griffon Cafe, which is partnered with Willistown Conservation Trust to support this project. There are other coffees in the area. There are that have the Smithsonian certification. One from Mom's
Yeah,
grocery
can I
store.
just jump in, because
Sure.
I know this is a real sensitive point with Suzanne.
Yeah.
We are totally aware that we cannot promote any particular company, any particular product, and we are just mentioning shade-grown coffee in general. That is only about 15% of Blake's presentation. Most of her presentation is about spring migration, and we will have samples, display samples of various different brands so that people have something to look at and can become familiar with a variety of products that are out there from various coffee growers and various outlets.
Oh, great. So
Yes,
that's
and
Wednesday.
I also
April
wanted to
3rd.
mention that we want to make our residents aware of the important work that Willistown Conservation Trust is doing. They have a Newtown Square address.
Yes.
And really, we all should become familiar, go out, go when they're tagging birds, hold a bird in your hand to let it go, and you'll feel that connection.
Wonderful. All right, so that's Wednesday, April 3rd from 7 to 8:30 at the Township Building, and we ask your support. Again, April 6th, Saturday from 9 to 12, a stream cleanup at Greer Park and Brookside. That will be hosted by DCBA, Parks and Rec, EAC, and Public Works. Looking forward to that. Everyone has seen the registration for that. Hopefully we'll see everyone there.
Sheila, I have a question on that.
Yes.
And I believe Wade Pollock, who I spoke with on Saturday, said that for that DCBA cleanup,
Right,
that the public should go
To
to
Greer
Greer Park,
right.
and the police are doing
fire.
Brookside Park.
Police and fire, yes.
Yeah, police and fire.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to let the public know that they should not go to Brookside Park. They should go to Greer Park.
Yes, and they usually send them down there, but Greer Park is the one that they'll be signed up, and on the link, it encourages you to do that as
Okay.
well. And also Saturday, we have a double header. Not only we have a chance to clean up park, but you can come from 9 to 11:30 at the EAC Weeding and Mulching Ring at the Nell Baseball Fields, which is really important. The e-newsletter has been sharing the signups, and that's also important. In addition, on Saturday, April 13th, from 9 to 11:30. The EAC will have the weeding and mulch raining gardening in the front garden. Cindy, you have any comments on those two events?
No, thank you for mentioning those. The Nell cleanup goes first on
Right.
April 6th because their opening day is a week later and we want the garden to look great and in shape for that. And both events have signups on Sign Up Genius, and it has been blasted out, and we're beginning to get signups for that.
Good. Let us know so we can continue to push it out. I know the Dandelion Group will be also they made little tidbits to be sharing that out, but we want to encourage, and everyone, if you can, make sure that we're represented at least one of those events if possible. Just do what you can, but
To the young man who's handling the screen, I think there's
Tim?
an image you can show.
Tim, yeah. The one that's the cleanup, remember the pink one you peeled up? There you go, buddy. Okay,
Yeah,
that's April
yeah.
6th. So everyone at home can see that. And Cindy, you want to bring their gloves? You want to give them their tidbits, what they need to do?
Yeah, you should bring your water bottle, work gloves, kneeling pad, hand clippers, because we're going to be mostly clipping the dead stalks that were left in place over the winter. That's the latest best practice to provide these stalks provide hollow nesting tubes for native bees, which are solitary bees. They do not live in hives. They often live in the perennials. So we're going to be utilizing the latest practices on cleaning up gardens, and we'll be sharing those with the participants. So not only are they helping us, but we'll be informing them and sharing them.
Perfect. You did get a couple of the community service hours, so you can start some of the rain garden work. Get that in fall.
I have sent the list out to the one gentleman.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Saturday, April 27th, have you heard anything else from Shade Tree about Arbor Day? Is it still a go?
It is and always has been April 27th. I believe it's going to be at Brookside Park.
Yes.
It's going to be a combination of invasives removal and cleanup, and Trish is working on that, and she will share the information as it is finalized.
Great. Okay, if you can keep us on. I have my daughter, I'm going to be another grandmother for this. So is this my daughter's baby shower that day? So I'm going to be very much of in a pickle to try to get there. So I know everyone else will step up. On Saturday, May 11th from 8 to 10. Janet, you want to mention the Birdtown Walk?
Yes, we have a walk scheduled. Again, graciously, Garrett Williamson is hosting our event, and we partnered with CRC to get the word out. They will broadcast it as well. And we have two great hosts or birdwalk leaders. Mike McGrath is committed to, again, be our leader, as well as Phil Whitmere, who is the vice chair of Birdtown, PA. And in birds, he did our Great Backyard Bird Count January workshop here at the Township. So we're looking forward to that. And I wanted to add, because on that same day, May 11th, the Historical Society and the Birdtown will be doing a plant swap and a plant giveaway in lieu of June the 1st.
Okay, so you're changing the June birth date to.
Well, I've changed it
May 11th.
because Kathy
Right.
has changed it.
All right.
And before I stop, I just hope you've all noticed the yellow pansies that are now blooming at our signs, our road signs.
Yes.
Into the Newtown Square, we're both on the east side and the west side. Newtown Square in bloom, myself included, helped to swap those out yesterday.
That's a lot of work, and that's
Yes.
wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
That's,
It's nice.
Yep, and
Oh.
that's with Paul.
Yes.
So I have a question on the native plant swap. You said
Yes.
it's not going to be June 1st. It's
Yes.
going to be May 11th.
Yes.
So is it going to be at Garrett Williamson?
No, it'll be at the Paper Mill House, but Kathy said it wouldn't start until noon.
Okay. So the location is the same, but the time,
The
And
date
the
is
date
different,
is
right,
different.
Yes.
So Janet, will you be able to get the flyer for that done rather quickly, just so we can get that out by the 8th?
I'll ask Kathy.
Yeah.
She put the together last.
I'm gonna give you some dates in a couple minutes of when that information is due, so if you can get that, it'd be great.
Okay.
Also then on Thursday, May 30th, I did send everyone out the 3rd Annual Sustainability Conference at Wider University. I already registered, and I know some
I
of you
did
already have
too.
done so, that'd
I
be
did
great. As Janet mentioned, this June 1st event, has been canceled, and that will be up to the historical things, but you've given us a new date of May 11th, so that's wonderful. In addition, there's a couple things I wanted to ask about. Our EAC agenda items will be due by 8 a.m. on Monday, April 8th, please. And in addition, any EAC newsletter items I need by Friday, April 5th at 8 a.m. because the e-newsletter will be published on April 11th. So that'll be helpful to us. I do have a question for Steve Neese. Anyone need any other dates or your?
I just wanted to add that the farmer's market sign-up sheet went out.
Yes.
And in making sure that they were not filled up and we didn't have space, I signed us up, Birdtown. I also put EAC's name on it
Okay.
for
And
the
when did you-
June 14th, I think.
June 14th.
Sheila, thank you for sharing the agenda item due date and the e-newsletter article due date. Is it possible, it would really be helpful in the future for that to be in the agendas? Do you
I-
have those dates in time or
No,
not?
I just got it on the way coming here. Usually what they say is, remember, our agenda items are 10 days before every meeting, so that's a solid
Okay.
one. The other, the Dandelion group set the dates. So I just got it this afternoon on my way here, literally at like 4 o'clock. And usually it's been around middle of the month. This month it's actually earlier. So, what
that
I
the
always
5th?
suggest, yes, I always suggest is to have everything by like the 5th or 6th, because it's going to come that following week. But it depends. Steve, you don't have a firm date on the way that the e-newsletter operates yet, right?
I did get some dates that I also just got today, and because I'm not in the office, I don't have them right in front of me.
Right, I gave them.
But I
just
will
got them
get
this
those
afternoon.
sent out to.
Yeah,
I will get those sent out to all the committee chairs and vice chairs over the next week or so.
Oh, yeah. And Steve, yes, thanks. I did get that today and I just shared it with, the e-newsletter items are going to be due for the EAC to me by Friday, April 5th at 8 a.m. because the letter will be published e-news on April 11th. So I have to submit it before it goes through you and the supervisors. And our standing, everyone knows to have our EAC agenda items 10 days before our meeting.
So Sheila, you offered us some very specific guidance on how to send those e-newsletter items to
Yes.
you. So what I ended up doing was sending you something like this
Yep.
that had the image and the text.
Yep.
And then the image separately in a JPEG.
Yes.
And you said you wanted each newsletter item sent in a separate email.
Yes,
Okay.
because
And numbered.
what we do is when we send it to the Dandelion group, I've got to say I have 5 items. Here's item 1, number 2, number 3, and everything. They want you to have the flyer with any type of tagline, and the tagline will be encouraging
And
the
that's
person.
how I did that. Is
Yeah.
that acceptable?
Yes, and you'll see, from the-
Okay,
did you see
okay.
the e-newsletter? this
Yes,
month?
I did.
So you see how.
Okay, no, it's
sometimes
just,
about
I
that.
wanted to
Yeah.
make sure the process. And if we had something that had the township logo on it, is that a separate review and approval process, or does that happen all at the same time? Because
Anything
I
with-
felt there was a lot of back and forth this month.
Anytime a township logo is used on anything, I always have to clear it with the township.
Right, no, I
Here,
realize
right,
that, but
right.
I'm wondering, is that like a cycle that has to happen before
Yes.
this April 5th deadline?
I would, anytime we're using their logo, I give them a couple more days to make sure they're okay with the content.
Okay.
So, and the reason being is
I won't
we
use
use
the
it,
logo.
yeah, we use a standard procedure that if the township logo goes on it, it has to be cleared with Suzanne or
Yeah.
the township. So,
No, that
And
I know,
that's-
yep.
yeah, and that's what we're just trying to respect their rules. Stephen, a question was the committee of chairs. Do you know when the next date for that is? Because Cindy and I do not have that.
I will also get that out to everybody. We were going to have one I think 2 weeks ago. And I chose not to have that one, but I will get you a date. I'll get everybody a date. I think it's in the early part of May.
Okay, great. Before we, before we get into any public comments, so Steve, I know we discussed it last month and we submitted it, and we're actually, a majority of us are staying this evening for the zoning. Can you give us any new information on 14 Phillips Lane that we didn't know about last month when we discussed it? Because we never saw the engineer's report on that. And we know it's a conditional use.
I don't know that I've seen it either. So,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's been submitted, but I don't know that I've actually seen it. So I don't have any other additional information.
Okay, perfect. All right. Before we go into public.
What I can tell you is that they met with the next door neighbor, and that's one of the reasons why it was put off.
Great. And actually, Steve, Paul and I met with that next door neighbor today, and he allowed us on his property to look. So we got a great look at the property ourselves. We met with number 20. He invited us, so that was good. It was just, he wanted to share his concerns, and they were in line with what our concerns are. All right, Dave, any comments that you have? Anything you'd like to share?
No further comment.
Good. Joe?
Nope. Good.
Janet?
No, thank you.
Cindy?
Thank you. Yeah, the free ID grant was voted on at the Board of Supervisors meeting, and they approved applying for the $500 mini grant. Since then, it also has come to our attention that Aqua has a new grant program that is specifically for the CRC watershed area. And it's all about water quality, and it can, some of the appropriate projects would involve public education. So I've been in contact with the grant coordinator and explained to her a general idea of the tree ID and interpretive signage at Gable Park, which was always part of George Sherritt's vision for that. And she said that would very much be an appropriate use of the funds. So I also cleared this with Trish Adams, since it involves trees and shade tree, and she said she's very supportive of this. So just to let you know, there are ongoing discussions with George to get input from Public Works on, you know, what type of signage he would like to see there, because Public Works and the township will ultimately be responsible in the long term for the care and installation, care and maintenance of these. So that is an unfolding issue.
And that's, Shade Tree is kind of, you're saying you're gonna work with them. Shade Tree is kind of organizing it. You're
Yeah, the board approved it. The board
Okay.
approved it contingent on the Shade Tree Commission approving it at their meeting.
Yes.
But there wasn't a meeting of the board again before the shade or after the Shade Tree Commission meeting. So we needed to get the board to approve it ahead of time.
And I think the basic issue, as always, Steve, is as you remind us, just to make sure we stay and follow your process so that we keep everything in line. It's
Yep.
never, we're not questioning ever the thing. It's just like you said, for us to follow your process so that we're all in unison together. All right. Next thing is public comment. DJ, and please get up, state your name and address, please, again for the record.
DJ Varner, 203 Gerard Avenue, Newtown Square. So on this issue of plastic mesh, I just want to give my heartfelt thank you to the EAC, and in particular to Cindy Mahalo for hearing about the issue and taking action. And also Steve Neese, the township manager. Thank you for hearing about the issue and taking action. And I think not only will it protect the community here from unnecessary wildlife entrapment and microplastics and annoying mesh in your backyard, it also could act as a role model for other communities that are undoubtedly having the same issue. But I'm just grateful to live in a community that takes action like this. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Steve, do you have any comment on that?
No, just that, you know, we're working towards it, and we'll hopefully have some good news in not too far distant future of where we are.
All right. I hate to say this, guys, but we are adjourned. Dude.
Thank you all.
Good.
Good night, Steve.
Florida.